masks, right? Hey, please say there is an offer on masks, 100 masks, 50 rupees discount, something like that. Or vice versa, you purchase masks, right? They offer some discount on the sanitizer. So what do you mean by that? That is called cross selling. Cross selling means what? Product A you purchased and they're offering discounts on product B, because the most of the guys, those who have purchased product A, they end up in purchasing product B also, right? So it, because they are both comes under the more or like same category, right? So let me give another example. So you have purchased a shoe, okay, Reebok shoe, Woodland shoe, whatever it may be, one shoe, right? Immediately, sir, take a dozen of socks. You three pairs are free for you. I'm just saying some example, right? So they give discounts on socks for you. Why, sir? Obviously, the guys, those who purchase new shoe, obviously they may end up in spending more money, some more money on the socks to purchase, right? So that is called cross selling. So cross selling sort of things, it can be done by product recommendation. That is one of the best AI algorithm. And I can tell you, upselling is also being done, right? Last year you purchased, let's say, 10,000 mobile X company, and this year same company has released 12,000 mobile. Last year is version 1, today is version 2. So do you think they market for whole globe, or do you think they market to the only ones in the first case, right? They have some budget for the marketing. Do you think they will one second, guys. Yeah, so do you think they will market to the people those who have already purchased version 1, or they will market to whole globe? Obviously the people those who have purchased for the first time, right? Like-minded people. So that's how it works. That is called upselling. Okay, same product, next version you are going to purchase. So these are some examples of applications of AI. If you allow, I can talk continuously, but let me move on in the interest of time. Yeah, so this is what which is pretty important, which I would like to focus. And here is what you'll understand the life cycle of your AI application or ML application, whatever, right? So what do you do? The very first step, okay, I'll try to make you understand this with a use case. This slide may can go for 5 to 10 minutes. I want everyone to focus on this slide, all these steps, so that you'll get to know whole world about a whole project building knowledge on the machine learning or deep learning area. Okay, right. So imagine you yourself as like owner of cars 24, or maybe cardeco.com, right? That those are the companies where you can able to purchase second hand cars as such, right? So they have hundreds of cars to be sold, right? And tens of cars they are purchasing on a daily basis, right? So you are the owner of that company. So what happened is, you have a senior mechanic, and let us say if somebody is coming to you, I wanted to sell out my car. Okay, so the car worth is the first hand price is 10 lakhs, and after 2 years of usage, that guy want to sell it out. Okay, so maybe Swift Desire car latest version, you can think of that. Okay, somebody has come to you that I wanted to sell this car. So what do? You give to your mechanic, hey, one second, yes, hey, so just tell me the price of how much price we should quote for him, right? Check the condition of the car, right, and let me know. So your mechanic is quoting let us say 8 lakhs. Okay, so do you think 10 lakhs car, after 2 years, if we quote 8 lakhs, is it a right price? In a general sense, you can say, come on, sir, no. 2 years, maybe it would have traveled 50,000 kilometers, right? And so quoting 8 lakhs is not good, but that guy has quoted 8 lakhs. And you don't have any knowledge, right? You are completely dependent on the mechanic. So what you have done is you have given 8 lakhs to those guys, and they are happily taking 8 lakhs and going back to their home. And what is your job? what you need to do is you need to polish that car a little bit, and now you need to start selling it to 9 lakhs. That's where the second hand car companies will earn profits, right? So now you did that, and you invested some 10-20,000 on it, and then you have kept 9 lakh price to it. So tell me, 10 lakhs worth car, okay, after 2 years, does anybody come and purchase it for 9 lakhs? Of course not, right? So where is the mistake happened? The mechanic who has to, study the car and quote the price, he has giving wrong quotes, right? So actually, if you ask me, it has to be like around 5 lakhs or 6 lakhs, not more than that. So you see, if you would have quoted 5 lakhs and you have invested another 50 lakhs to polish the car, so 5.5 lakhs is what you have invested, and now you can put a price of 7 lakhs, right? And after bargaining, maybe you can sell it off to 6.5 lakhs. So ultimately 1 lakh rupees, you are earning profit. That's the way how these second hand car companies work. So ultimately what had happened here is you have appointed a bad mechanic where he is giving a lot of big quotations, and at the end of the day you are losing lots of money. You are not only losing money by giving more to the first owner, but also second owners are not coming. Means what? Two ways you are losing your business, right? On an average daily 100 cars, you are doing mistake like this. Let's say 100 into 1 lakh, 1 crore, business you are losing every day. Monthly 30 crore business. Just imagine how much loss it is for you are the owner of this company. I ask you to imagine, right? Now, what you have done is you called me, right? Hey, there is a certain IBM, so he's data scientist. Let me call him and check, like, can he build an application for me wherein it should predict the price of a second-hand cars, right? So you approached me and you are giving this project to me. Let us see, right? So, sir, I'm running this company. I want you to help me out with an application wherein that should predict the price of a second-hand cars, right? So, fine, you gave this task to me, right? Okay, so now what I'm going to do, you see, first I will collect the data. What data I will collect, sir? You have given a task for me. What is the task? What is the project you have given for me? Right? I need to build an AI application that should help you in predicting the price of a second-hand car. Okay, right? For that, I should have enough data from my side to understand, how the second-hand car prices generally go for. Okay, so I have approached some agencies, okay, data vendors, companies, okay, data sellers, right? And I went to Google, I went to multiple websites, and somehow I have collected the data of 1 lakh cars information, and what they have got sold out in the previous last 5-10 years. Okay, but do you think I have got all the data in very good Excel format? No, somebody must have shared in register, somebody must have shared in PDF, somebody must have shared in web pages, somebody must have shared in Excel sheets. So various formats have received data. That data is called unclean data, raw data. So what do you need to do is, once after collection of your data, you need to wrangle it. What do you mean by wrangling? Simple, clean it. So all the data, you polish it, you clean it, and make it a best simple Excel sheet of 1 lakh rows. And imagine the columns are like 20 columns. So what are the columns here? Customer name, customer mobile number, that first hand owner who has sold, right? So his mobile number, his house address, car color, car company, car number plate, right? And his fuel type, odometer reading, speedometer reading, the how many kilometers it has traveled, that odometer reading, okay, gear type, okay. So likewise, multiple details, like 20 columns of data along with 1 lakh rows of data, right? So you have cleaned it now. Now next, what you have to do, now you need to analyze the data. So what do you mean by analyzing the data, right? See, you are supposed to build an application wherein your application should predict the price of a second-hand car. So for that, you are doing all these steps. So now let me try to understand how to predict the price of a new car, meaning second-hand car, which all columns are important for me to maintain in the Excel sheet? Okay, so tell me, question to you all, tell me, owner name, first owner name is impacting on the price. Tell me, can someone pick in the chat saying that first owner, does first owner name is important for us? No, right? Okay, now tell me, first owner home address, is he staying in Hyderabad, or is he staying in, let's say he's staying in Amirpet, or is he staying in Panjagutta, or is he staying in Kukatpalli? Like all these places are like 5-10 kilometers of distance. So these home address making impact on the price prediction? No, right? Okay, now let me ask a question. Tell me which column, which feature, which variable impacts more in predicting the price of a car? Yeah, Nanda Kumar is saying speedometer. Yeah, now students are saying, yeah, distance travel. Of course, speedometer is that only, right? Okay, yeah, car condition, engine model, very good. Band and model, AC, non-AC, manufacturing year. I am getting awesome responses from you all. You're all rightly saying all points are pretty much valid, but priority wise, right? Which is the first priority, right? As per me, speedometer reading is important. Okay, but that is not a thumb rule, right? You may say, sir, instead of speedometer reading, I will go and check the car engine, right? For me, car engine is the first priority, right? That is up to you. Based on the data scientist, priorities also gets changed. That's okay, but let me try to give this approach. Speedometer reading is important, so I will consider that. And color is important, model is important, engine likewise. But which are not important? Owner name, first owner name is not important, right? And his address is not important. His mobile number, is he an Airtel guy or Geo guy? Not important. So not important details I am ignoring, and important column details I am considering. So out of 20 by 1 lakh of Excel sheet, 20 columns and 1 lakh rows of Excel sheet, what I'm doing is I am making it into 12 columns and 1 lakh rows. You understand? 8 columns I have ignored. Okay, 8 columns. That 8 columns may be name, his phone number, and his place, etc., etc. Now what I am doing, that 12 by 1 lakh rows of data you have, right? So that meaningful valid data you are now splitting into train and test. So what do you mean by train and test? Let us say your niece or nephew has got an exam on Monday. On Friday, what you are doing, you have given a textbook of 100 questions. There is a textbook of 100 questions, but what you are doing to, while making him prepare, you have given only 80 questions to your niece, right? And hey, you prepared a whole of today, tomorrow I will check on how you have prepared or not. So that's where you are saying, so instead of 100 questions, you have given only 80 questions for your niece or nephew to prepare, like it's sixth standard child. So that 80 questions he has prepared, right? And on Saturday, you are checking him, right? You're asking him, hey, tell me the answer of this question, tell me the answer of that question, like that. Sir, are you asking from the prepared 80 questions only? No, I am asking from the not prepared 20 questions, right? The questions which I have not given for him to prepare, right? Sir, how is it possible, sir? Yes, it is possible. You don't have to train on the complete data, right? You have to, meaning if you train on the complete data, right, obviously there are high chances that you will answer correctly. But if you train on the 80% or 70% of the data, and the testing is happening on that kid, here I'm telling a layman example, kid, but in the machine learning terminology we say algorithm. So you're going to you're, for the algorithm you are giving only 80% of the data to get trained, and you're testing that algorithm from the other 20% of the data which you have not ever allowed for your model to algorithm to get trained. But still your algorithm has to predict the answer. Let us say if it is predicted properly, then you know you will say that yes, my algorithm is really super. Like let us say your kid has answered properly, right? Then you will very confidently and say to your family members that our kid is going to rock in the exam, right? So that's how it is. So once if your model build, if your algorithm has got trained properly and the predictions, the accuracies are giving fine, then what do you do is you will go ahead and build deploy that model in the client mission. So that is that's the way. So here what I'll do is my model is ready now. I will come and deploy my AI application that helps in predicting the price of a second hand cars. I will come and hand over to you, and you will install that in your machine. And tomorrow if any new customer is coming and trying to sell his car, what do you do is you'll ask him to fill a form, right? In that form, all the details will be there, like speedometer reading, car company, car model, these, that, and all. So all the fields the guy is first owner is filling, and the moment when he click on OK, enter, all those fields as like input comes to your AI application, and your AI application is going to take those inputs and it will predict, saying that worth of 10 lakhs rupees car, yeah, you can purchase it from the range of 5 lakhs 20,000 to 5 lakhs 50,000, something like that output it will give. So by seeing the output, you will go and bargain with the guy, like I will give 5 lakhs, I'll give 5 lakh 20,000, something like that. Are you understanding whatever I am? You guys got the point, the way how it looks like, how a application gets built in real time. So any business you take, there are some challenges, right? You wanting to know proper predictions, right? Properly it has to predict for my business. So these are the steps every data scientist will perform. They will collect the data, clean the data, prepare the data, analyze the data. They'll split the data for training and testing. They allow the data training for the algorithm to train the data, and they'll test that algorithm. The end output is called model, right? That model testing is being done. If it is successful, then they'll go and deploy it to the client mission. So these are the phases which you literally see in every other AI application, right? So let me quickly move on and convey. There are types of machine learning algorithms. There you have three types, but if you ask me, 90% are supervised, 9% are unsupervised, and 1% is reinforcement. Right? That's the way how you have to look at it. So majorly two types only, if you ask me, right? Supervised and unsupervised. So basically, I'll try to explain these two things in a chart. This makes you things pretty easy for you. So supervised learning, again, supervised is categorized into two types, regression and classification, right? So before classification, just try to understand supervised, the data part which I was talking to you, right? The 1 lakh rows and the 12 columns, right? So the data part which I'm talking to you. So in that data, you will also have the price of the car at what it has got sold out. Like another example I'm showing here, you see, is a price predicting the price of a house. So 12,000 SFT, locality is Bangalore, type of the house is 3 BHK. It got sold out to what price? It got sold out to 1 crore rupee, right? So and so size, so and so locality, so and so size, it got sold out to 70K, and the other one is 70 lakhs, 95 lakhs, right? So in the historical data, in the data set, if you have the target variable, the dependent variable, the one which you are going to predict, okay, the green color one in this, if you are asking, if you are seeing, right? Along with the yellow color, if you have the green color along with the input, these are all the input variables, right? These are all the independent variables. Size is independent of every other variable. Locality is independent of every other variable. But price is not independent. Price is dependent on the size only. Price is dependent on the locality only, right? Depending upon these values only, price value gets decided. Am I right or wrong? So that's the reason it's called dependent or target. The one which you are going to predict is called target variable. This is the terminology we use in machine learning, which you have to also start learning, right? Okay. So here also you see you have yellows, and at the same time you also have to carry green, the one which you are going to predict. So then what is the difference between 1A and 1B. Regression, you are saying the above one. Classification, you are saying the below one. See, the one which you are going to predict, if that is in numerical form, right? The regression example I'm talking, anything which you are trying to predict, which is in the numerical form, continuous data, numerical data, numbers. So that is the regression problem statement. Those are called regressions, right? The opposite to it is the one which I'm going to predict, which is in the form of text, okay, in the form of categorical, right? Yes, no, true, false, okay, win, lose. So those sort of outputs, whatever you will have, those are the classes, classifier. So that sort of problem statements, we call it as like classification. So both regression and classification comes under supervised technique only, right? So just for you to understand all the time, okay, so somebody asks you what is regression, what is classification algorithms, right? Just remember these example, very simple example which I'm bringing into you, right? So you all know Virat Kohli, right? Indian cricket team captain, right? Okay, so tomorrow there is a match, imagine, and you are asking how much Kohli is going to score tomorrow, maybe let's say today, right? Second half, there is a match, right? You're asking a machine to predict, right? So what you're asking to predict, you're asking to predict a number, or you're asking to predict something, a text number, right? So that is a regression problem. So the example of classification is like whether India is going to win or lose, right? So winning, losing, that is, you have to answer either yes or no. It will be 0 or 1, right? It can't be like India will win 0.64% and India will lose, 0.36%, right? 64% winning, and that there will not be like that, right? It has to win or it has to lose. So that is like categorical data. It has to in the winning class or losing class, right? So that's called regression and classification differences. You can start understanding with the simple examples. And the next type is unsupervised learning, which is a little different. And as I told you, lesser in the world people use this sort of problem statements, right? What is this, sir? You will, everything is same, just that you will not carry target variable in the historical data, right? So your historical data looks like this, your customer name, customer account number, city, salary, but who is the best customer, you don't have, you don't have a habit of tracking, right? So let us say all of a sudden your manager is coming, you're a bank branch manager, imagine your country manager is coming to you and, hey, tell me who is the best customer in your bank, right? I wanted to offer a free loan, or something I would like to give for them. So as a branch manager, you will go back to your data, you will see you have like 1 lakh customers are there. All the data is there: customer name, customer account number, city, salary, phone number, address, everything is there, sir. But I don't have a column of capturing whether he is best or not, right? How should I come and tell that this customer is best and this customer is not? That predicting those things are really tough, right? Wherein you don't have in the data set your target variable, right? So such sort of algorithms, you call it as like unsupervised learning algorithms, right? Even if you predict, you don't have any mechanism to test whether your prediction is right or wrong. Let us say here you have the mechanism of testing, right? Whether your predictions are right or wrong, because you have y actual. This is called y actual, right? Target variable we call as like y actual. So you have y actuals in the supervised, but you don't have y actuals in the unsupervised. So that's the reason, majority of the data scientists, they themselves will not suggest you to go for end up with this kind of problem statement. Sir, tell me, sir, if this is the case, then how should I resolve, right? So instead, please help me with the data set of with best customers. How do you treat, right? So please bring up a data set where it has the target variable, is what I will say. I will ask, right? Because whatever I'm going to build, I can assure you this is this much of percent, it is correct. But in the space of unsupervised learning, you don't have that provision, right? Okay, so moving on. So these are certain example algorithms in the supervised learning, right? As I was telling you, dozen of algorithms you have to learn minimum, right? In that, these are the few, right? Starts off with linear regression. Okay, there are multiple multiple types of linear regressions. And in the logistic regression, in the classification logistic regression, the very first regression algorithm which you have to start off with, both linear logistic, like for regression and classification, there are solutions can be built on decision trees and random forest. So decision tree, random forest are the algorithms post linear and logistic you're supposed to learn. And then in the process you have to learn SVM, Naive Bayes. I have not mentioned multiple algorithms are there, bagging, boosting, right? So it depends, right? Recommender system, right? So clustering is something which comes under the unsupervised learning. So you don't have to boil ocean by getting into the multiple algorithms.